Good morning, grade 12. This is the last part of our lesson, our chapter that talks about culture. Quickly, so we can revise what we took previously, we already said that culture is the knowledge, the values, the customs, and the physical objects that are shared by people in a society. And we said that both society and culture, they coexist together. One cannot exist without the other. We also said there are two types of cultures, material culture and non-material culture. And we said that society is a group of people that lives in a defined area and they share common culture. Now, why is culture important? Because it helps explain human and social behavior, and it's the way of life. It shapes the way of life. And as we said, culture and society are coexisting together, or they're interwoven. Now, biologically, we have three terms that describes our actions. One is instinct, two is a reflex, and three is a drive. An instinct is an innate or an internal, unlearned pattern of behavior. For example, fear, anger, these are two feelings that are within you. No one taught you how to feel scared. No one taught you how to feel angry. And these feelings, they show up at certain situations and they are important for survival. The second feeling is, or the second action is a reflex. A reflex is an automatic action or an automatic reaction that our body makes. Just like when someone, for example, tries to poke your eyes close unintentionally. You cannot control it. The third type of action is a drive. A drive is something that we can control. It is something that we can stop or proceed with. It's an impulse, and we use this drive to reduce discomfort, like eat, sleep, drink. You can feel hungry, but you have the drive to eat. You can control yourself, whether you're going to eat now or later. You feel sleepy or you feel exhausted. You are the one in charge whether to sleep now or not. It's not like a reflex, impulsive. If you're hungry, you start eating uncontrollably and you cannot control your hands and mouth. Or if you feel exhausted, you just drop and sleep right away. No, it's unlike the other two, it's intentional. You can control it. So these are the three actions that defines our biological influence or reactions. Why are these terms important? We have a certain debate called nature versus nurture. From the title, nature means a point of view that goes on with natural terms. Nurture is another term that is used for society. Now, in nature versus nurture, the psychiatrists and the sociologists, they are debating your actions, your personalities, your traits, the characteristics that you have now. Is it natural? Is it biological? Is it related to genes and DNA only? Or is it nurture? Was it was there, or it started showing in you because of the society around you? For example, if you are a shy person, is this nature biologically within you or because of your DNA? Or is it nurture? You couldn't find suitable friends around you, so you started being lonely, which ended up that you are a shy person and you cannot deal with people more often. Or, for example, the art of drawing or the talent of drawing. Is it natural? Does it come by genes? Or can you take courses and go to the School of Arts and then you can become an artist? I'll show you a series of slides. Answer the questions like within your mind. The people who bring you up have the biggest influence in your life, which means either your parents or your grandparents, whatever people you all live with, and from the time you were a baby until you grow up, they have the biggest influence on your life. Do you strongly agree? Do you agree only? Do you disagree? Or do you strongly disagree? Did you all answer that question? Okay. Our character does not change no matter what happens to us in life. We always take after our parents, often in ways we can't see. Take after our parents means that we always copy our parents' actions or words indirectly, even without paying attention. We tend to date and marry people like our parents. By like, we mean like it means not exactly the same or they don't look like them, but they act like them or they remind you of them or the characters are somehow like them. Did you answer the previous questions?
Yes.
Yes.
How many of you, most of the answers were strongly agree? First question. The people who bring you up have the biggest influence on your life.
Strongly agree.
Did anyone say strongly
Agree.
disagree? Did anyone say disagree or strongly disagree?
No. No, they said agree.
Whether it's agree or strongly
Agree.
agree, it's the same. Okay, the second question. Our character does not change no matter what happens to us in life. Did anyone say agree or strongly agree?
Disagree. No. No.
So you all agree with the point that the character changes?
Yes.
No, I
Okay.
agree.
You agree? Who's saying you agree?
Elma.
Uh, Nada? Who is talking because I couldn't hear clearly?
Myrna. Myrna.
Mirna? Okay. We always take after our parents, often in ways we can't see. Eventually, when you grow up, you're going to be the copy of your mom and dad in terms of actions and words and what you say. Or your mom is a copy of her mom and your dad is a copy of his dad. Who said disagree? Grade 12. Did you answer this question?
I disagree.
You disagree?
I fully disagree.
You all strongly disagree and disagree, right?
Oh, I agree.
Okay. Those of you who said disagree and strongly disagree, just wait and see. We tend to date and marry people like our parents. Who said disagree or strongly disagree?
Strongly disagree.
Disagree.
Okay.
Strongly disagree.
Okay. Now, there is no right and wrong answer in the previous questions, but there are only statistics according to research. Okay. In the first question, yes, it's strongly agree and agree. Why? Because usually, whether the people around you are good or bad, they influence you in your life. But still, we have other cases. This is why there's a certain percentage of disagree, where the characters of the people are strong, so they push out any influence in the life. Now, this debate that we are in, whether it's agree or disagree, is called the nature versus nurture. It's a debate that whether are genes or environment, whether this or that, they have more influence over a person's behavior, thoughts, and personalities. After a very long time of statistics and debates, they reached the result, which is 40 to 50% of your personality, which is half, is influenced by genes, and the other half is influenced by culture, which means if you have the genes for a musical ear. يعني you know how to, for example, sing or play on a musical instrument. If it's in your genes and your parents take note of it and they start teaching you, then you're going to learn quickly and eventually you're going to become very excelling in it. Same thing as art and drawing. If you have it in your genes, you're going to do it alone without any tutoring, but you need some help. With the help, you will excel. So 50% of the uh, characters are built within you. If it's in the genes, then this is a strong
معاك
start.
كام سنة اتخرج؟
It's okay. What if you don't have it in your genes? We have who can draw in class? Grade
مريم
12,
and هانيا.
Mariam and Hunya. So they 99% they have it in their genes. Okay, who cannot draw, but by the time they took the art classes with Miss Samia and they became a little bit better than way before.
مريم and هانيا.
Yeah, other
Which
than
one?
Mariam and Hanya. I mean someone who
Which one?
wasn't eh?
I think all the class.
All the class. Okay, so Mariam and Hanya on one side and all the class on another side. Mariam and Hanya, they have it in their genes. They like drawing. They know how to draw, and with the help of Mirna too. I remember you were making a portfolio, right?
And Salma.
Okay.
Me?
I remember seeing some of you in the art room making portfolios. Anyways, so we have 2 4 girls, whatever, they have it in their genes. And they drew since they were young. It wasn't really that professional, but with the help of the people around them, they excelled in it. On the other hand, we have the rest of the class who knew nothing about drawing, but with the help of the society and the classes and the teachers around them, they became kind of better. They're not Van Goghs, okay, but they're not as crappy as they used to be before taking the art classes at school. So this is the conclusion of the nature versus nurture effect. If you have it in your genes, with the follow up and help, you can excel and it shows. If you do not have it in your gene, with the help, you might be better. What happens if, for example, Maryam had it in her genes, but her mom didn't know it, and for example, the school that she went in did not have art classes? She would have continued to be the same, اللي هو the same good level, not excelling level, because she didn't have help. So at the end, maybe she will be the same as someone who doesn't know how to draw but took classes. Do you understand what does it mean? And even if you have it in your genes, if you do not get the support from the environment or the culture around you, it will not show. Clear?
Clear.
Who doesn't understand nature versus nurture? Do you all get it? Grade 12.
Mm.
Yes.
Okay. Forget about this.
مس مريم بتقول لحضرتك إن الكهرباء عندها قطعة.
ماشي. It's okay. We already described what
هي
Mhm.
قطعة في الحتة عندنا كلها مس.
Right, it's okay. We already described what's a symbol, like thumbs up, waving, flags, rainbows, new rainbows versus old rainbows. We said that the language is a method of communication and it allows us to help contact each other or communicate between each other and pass on the culture in the society. Let's see. Activities. I'll put the activities down in the assignment later on. We said what's a norm and what's a value. And we said what's a foci and more, with moral significance. Now, we said laws, and we said the sanctions, rewards, values. Okay. You said material versus non-material culture. These are the symbols. Okay. We said the beliefs. Now, the last part of the lesson talks about what we call an ideal culture versus a real culture. I explained this in a very summarized form, but these are more details. We said that an ideal culture, it's the cultural guidelines or the image of the culture that we want to live in, or the dream of a culture that we want to live in. That we all need to live in a clean society with people who are tolerant together and forgiving, and that the taxes, for example, are of low percentages, and that school is free and affordable to everyone, good health care for everyone. This is the ideal culture. A real culture, these are the actual behaviors and patterns of the people and members of the society. We want to live in a clean society. But what happens in real life is that people, they do not throw their trash inside the bins, instead they throw it in the street. So ideal versus real, it doesn't happen. We want the people to tolerate each other, but for example, in a very crowded part, people start fighting and yelling at each other. We want to teach our kids about forgiveness and taking care of each other, but instead what happens is some people raise their kids as becoming bullies. So this is an ideal culture. What are the guidelines and what the culture is supposed to be or expected to be? But what happens is the real culture or the actions of the people. Okay. We said the counterculture, ethnocentrism, cultural universals.
مس حضرتك عمال يقطع.
Can you hear me now?
Oh,
Okay. Remember, we took a term called cultural universals, and we said that these are the common things between all culture. All cultures, they have famous food for them, famous clothing, certain values and traditions, certain music sometimes. On the opposite, there's another term called cultural particulars. This is the way in which a specific culture expresses the universal traits in a specific way, which means a cultural universal means that all cultures, they have food, يعني certain food for them, or a certain dish. When you say the name, you know which culture or which country are you talking about. A cultural particular is related to a certain country. So, for example, when I say supposedly pizza, is it a cultural universal or is it a cultural particular?
Cultural particular.
Thank you, because I specified an example. If I say any of these words without specifying, then this is a cultural universal, which is a genre, a title. If I specify, for example, pizza or Eid or Christmas or abayas, for example, or saris, if I say certain examples, these are examples for certain cultures, which are the cultural particulars. Do you understand the difference?
No, Miss, can you say it again?
Again, do you see this slide? Can you see it?
Yes.
Okay. These are examples of cultural universals. If you read, it's general. There's nothing specific. يعني food, shelter, clothing, values, traditions, communities, music, games. Each culture has these. So are the ones inside the box. Sports,
Mm.
calendar, community, ethics, etiquette, food taboos, folklores, language. Did I specify any details about it? Personal
No.
names? Okay, no. They are titles. These are called cultural universals. When I start saying examples, okay, then you can start saying that this is a particular uh, cultural particular. Yani, for example, if I say
Oh,
just the examples that I said, these are the easiest ones for you, so you can all yani, pick it up. If I say traditions اللي هو eating for example كحك in Eid, is it a cultural particular or a cultural universal?
particular.
Particular. I gave you an example. طب which category under cultural universal does it fall under? Traditions.
Mm,
Is it something religious? Is it something related to a certain country? It's a tradition. Your parents have been doing it. Your grandparents have been doing it. Yani, this is something. Okay. Do you understand the difference between cultural particular and cultural universal? Grade 12, can you hear me?
Yes, miss.
Yes.
So do you understand the
بس
difference
حضرتك
between
بيقطع.
both? Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Okay. This is the whole summary of the culture chapter. I will upload the PowerPoint today since we're back to online, so we can upload PowerPoints. You need to reread it again. You need to write the terms in your notebooks or try to draw a map or a web diagram to divide what are the components of culture. Okay, this is an assignment that you will do, but it will be due like 2 weeks ahead. Next time we have sociology, I will post it tonight. Okay, but I just need to explain it. What you will read the whole PowerPoint.
مس
Yes,
الصوت كان بيقطع ما سمعتش حاجة.
can you hear me now?
Yes.
I said the PowerPoint will be uploaded on SMS. You will have an assignment that's due not next week, لا, the week after. يعني not this Sunday, Sunday after, اللي هو when we have sociology again. The assignment will be about you summarizing the chapter in a web diagram or a tree diagram, which means the whole chapter talks about culture. Okay, we said that there are two types of culture, material and non-material. And then we talked about that there are 5 components of culture. Each component had a certain division under it, right? This is what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to divide the parts of the chapter or the parts of the PowerPoint into a diagram. You first have to pick the easiest diagram for you. Is it a web diagram? Is it a spider diagram or is it a tree diagram? For me, I think a tree diagram is the easiest because you can divide it as many levels as possible. Okay, I will post the assignment tonight on SMS and it will be due next Sunday, not this one, the one after. Is it clear?
Yes.
Do you have any questions concerning this chapter?
So after we read the PowerPoint, what do we do?
After we read the PowerPoint, you're going to get an A3 paper, preferably, because your notebook won't fill as much. And then on the top, you're going to write culture in a circle. Pick the diagram that you want, whether it's a spider diagram or a tree diagram. These are the two easiest. And then as you read, you have to summarize the chapter in terms of diagrams. Just the same way I do it on the board with you in class, where I always write a term and then arrows, arrows, arrows. You have to do it first in your notebook or on papers of draft because you won't get it right at the first time. And at the end, when you're done, you can cleanly draw it and write it on an A3.
Okay.
It's not due this Sunday, it's due the Sunday after, which is 24. Okay? When we have sociology again, because this Sunday we're starting with history. Clear? Do you have any questions?
No.
Okay. Thank you for
No, what's
attending.
the assignment again?
I'll post it on SMS Maya. This is the third time. You're going to summarize the
Oh,
PowerPoint in a tree diagram.
okay,
Okay?
okay,
Okay. And I'll attach images of tree and spider diagrams so you can use them if you want.
okay. Thank you.
Okay? Thank you. I'll see you on Sunday.